Hello. Here I'm going to compare and contrast four covers of the song Mule Skinner Blues performed by Jimmie Rodgers, Bill Monroe, the Maddox Brothers and Rose, and Dolly Parton. I'm going to compare their musical characteristics, discuss their place in country music history, enumerate their historical sources of influence, explain their role in the development of rock and roll, and inform you which one I prefer. The four versions all have the same basic melody and form, but each has a different sound and era. Jimmie Rodgers' 1930 version is bluesy and slow and rooted in a 12-bar blues structure. His yodeling and acoustic guitar give a raw, close sound. The sound is warm and rough, with a focus on his blues and folk heritage. Bill Monroe's 1950 recording accelerates the tempo and adds bluegrass instruments like mandolin, fiddle, and upright bass. His bright voice and fast picking bring a more forceful and lighter sound. While the melody remains unchanged, the speed and manner of playing change the song to accommodate another genre. And we'll take a look at Bill Monroe right now.
Good morning, Captain. Good morning.
So as you could hear right there, he has that fast picking, he has the very loud and upbeat voice. You can definitely hear the brightness that this song, his version of this song creates. And so the Maddox Brothers and Rose, they recorded in the late 1940s. They gave the song a lively swing and country-style beat. They provide group singing, slap bass, and early electric guitar. Their version keeps the melody, but provides bounce and energy indicative of growing boogie and western swing influence. Dolly Parton's 1970 remake is faithful to the original melody, but has the advantage of contemporary recording technology. Her strong voice and commanding performance are truly satisfying, while the accompaniment beautifully blends traditional country sounds with a more polished style. The timbre is clear and confident, trademark of country pop of the period. And we'll listen to Dolly Parton a little bit later. Milestones in country music. Both recordings represent a milestone in the development of country music. Rodgers created the early country sound through combining folk and blues. His recording paved the way for the country as a genre. And we'll listen to Jimmie Rodgers right now. Then we'll skip a little bit farther in.
My initials on a mule behind.
All right. And as you can see right there, you can see there's a slower tempo. You can see it bounces back and forth, has a kind of a similar pattern that it's creating. You can hear the way that he's playing his instruments, very indicative of blues and folk style music, which you can clearly see the influence that it had on him. Monroe's version marked the beginning of bluegrass. His interpretation used quick tempos, instrumental skills, close harmonies on the vocals, forming a new country style, which we heard earlier. We heard it very fast, very upbeat, very quick. The Maddox Brothers and Rose brought honky-tonk and swing formats. Their sound reflected post-war enthusiasm and the trend toward dance-friendly electric country. The Dolly Parton recording proved the capacity of traditional songs to endure in the country pop age. It also emphasized the growing role of women in country music and enhanced the popularity of the genre in mainstream culture. Historical influences. Rodgers was inspired by the folk and African American blues of the early 20th century, which we talked about earlier, particularly those performed by railroad laborers. His compositions demonstrate the cross-fertilization of these styles in the rural South. Monroe's version manifests post-World War II musical tastes, in which listeners accepted faster tempos and instrumental exactness, which we also heard earlier. The Maddox Brothers and Rose were affected by the Great Depression migration and the growing popularity of dance music in the West Coast. Their version is reminiscent of California honky-tonks in the 1940s. Dolly Parton's version tells us something about the transformation of the music industry in the 1970s, when country music was breaking into more varied audiences in a more commercialized format. It also tells us something about the cultural shift toward the acknowledgement of female artists. Oh, it was this slide. Oops. Influence on rock and roll. Early rock and roll was influenced by Rogers with his blend of blues and folk singing, which we talked about earlier. His yodeling and phrasing were a revolution in the era. And this was a big part in changing how, uh, later on, how people would add in ad libs or change and add in their own versions of singing and incorporate that more into rock and roll. Monroe's string-heavy, aggressive arrangements influenced guitar and vocal styles used in early rock and roll, which we see prevalently in these four artists. Big ones you can see is Elvis Presley is definitely one of the biggest ones on there. The Maddox Brothers and Rose helped develop the genre of rockabilly with their energetic tempo, group vocals, and electric instruments, which I'd say Elvis Presley is definitely one of the biggest proponents of this. He's definitely one of the musicians where if you think about energy and tempo, and just the excitement and jitteriness of music, you definitely think of Elvis Presley and his movements. Parton's version kept the song in contemporary country music, though not necessarily linked with rock. It had country traditions that later artists would blend with rock styles. Of the four, my favorite personally is Dolly Parton's version. It balances tradition and modern production and introduces a strong vocal performance. Her version is differential to the original, but new for its time. And we'll take a quick listen to it right here. Let's go over here. And you can listen to how well her vocals, how beautiful the vocals are, and how she's able to get into the super high pitches, last for a very long time. I only played a short clip of it, but it lasts for, I don't know, maybe an extra 5-10 seconds after that. It is incredible. But yes, in conclusion, all the recordings of Mule Skinner Blues maintain the integrity of this song while capturing the sounds and attitudes of their own eras. Together, they illustrate how a single tune can evolve and allow us to follow the development of country music and even the birth of rock and roll. Thank you for watching.